Welcome to the second edition of the Committee of the Whole meeting for March 3rd, 2020. I call this meeting to order and ask the clerk again to please call the roll.
Trustee Kammer?
Here.
Carbonaro?
Here.
DEYNE?
Here.
Cabrera?
Here.
Hopkins? Ranky?
Present.
President Wallace.
Here. First item on our committee meeting this evening is under Building and Zoning. Chairman Hopkins.
Thank you, President Wallace. We have one item on our agenda tonight, and it's the 7-Eleven at 555 West Lake Street. They are requesting a site plan, special use permits, and variations. With that, Roberta, can you give us a rundown on this property?
Absolutely. The petitioner is requesting site plan review for a proposed 3,500 square foot 7-Eleven convenience store and gas station at the northeast corner of North Bartlett and Lake Street. They are also requesting a special use permit for an automobile service station since the use of the site as a service station has been discontinued for more than 6 months. They are also asking for a special use to sell packaged liquor, beer and wine only, and for outdoor sales of propane. The existing building would be demolished, and the building before you on the color rendering is what they are proposing to construct. It would be a 24-hour facility, 7 days, open 7 days a week. The site plan here shows 2 curb cuts, one on Lake Street, which would be a right-in, right-out here, and then a full access point on North Bartlett Road towards the west. The 2 existing curb cuts, currently the site has 4 curb cuts. This curb cut would be removed, and this curb cut would also be removed, both of them closest to the intersection. They're requesting several variations, one from the front yard, one from the corner side yard to allow for the location of the canopy, to allow parking in the corner side yard, to allow the trash enclosure in the corner side yard, and to reduce the required landscaped interior parkway. They've provided 29 parking spaces on the site, which does exceed our zoning ordinance requirement of 28. They're proposing a 6-foot-tall solid wood fence along the north property line here and the east property line. And this would also include landscaping with trees and shrubs. The village's environmental consultant has reviewed the plans, and he has also met with the petitioner. He has provided recommendations, and these recommendations would be incorporated into the staff's report if the board chooses to send this on to the ZBA and to the Plan Commission. It's my understanding the petitioners are here tonight. They would like to approach the board with an amendment to their request.
Free Slurpees for life.
You're gonna have to ask 7-Eleven. So my name is John Silverberg. I'm a Director of Development over at GW Properties. We're proposing this development. I appreciate the time to present to the board. I will say that one error and omission, I'd like to call it a scriber error, but I'll take the blame, is that we're looking for a full liquor license, meaning to sell packaged beer, wine, and liquor. So that is the only amendment. I will say also, additionally, we met with the police staff, and while we are proposing a solid 6-foot-tall fence, as that's code, they have made a request that it is a wrought iron type fence that you could see through for safety purposes. So that's the only comment I will make.
I don't see any problems with that. Does anyone else have any objections to what?
Absolutely, I do. Setting precedent with the liquor license. None of the other gas stations in Bartlett have this full liquor license. I think it opens the door for a lot of different gas stations to come to the village asking for the same sort of thing. I think with a full liquor license, then it opens the door for video gaming. and they can have the video gaming brought into the facility. Is that also the intent?
So at this time, video gaming is not part of our proposal. Also, and I'm not an expert on video gaming by any means, but I believe there are additional other hurdles that would need to be met in order.
Down
Trustee
or
Cameron?
license to get video gaming, which this wouldn't be. You can't get video gaming with package unless it were a truck stop.
That's your truck stop.
And then there's certain volumes of gas, is my understanding, if you're to qualify under those. You'd have to also be over 3 acres, I believe, as a site. So
They would not meet the parameters.
Right.
for Gaming.
But lastly, I think we're not taking into consideration some of the small businesses, the liquor stores in Bartlett, there's 7-Elevens that don't have the gas facility, that are selling liquor, and that's part of their revenue, and what's going to take away from these stores. We have, 3 liquor stores in town, plus a 7-Eleven selling packaged liquor, that certainly, now you open up all the gas stations selling, along with all the supermarkets and everything. What kind of effect is that going to have on the small business person? And I'm certainly concerned about the small business person as well. So I have an issue with it. I cannot see voting for it personally with full liquor license at all, just so you know.
Trustee Kammerer's point, I think that the majority of the people that are going to utilize this facility are people that are probably not even Bartlett residents. They're just passing through to go home. So I don't necessarily think that someone that, and I live fairly close to this location, and I probably wouldn't even go there, just to go
It won't be
there.
just this location, it's going to be the ones on 59, because this will not be the only one. As soon as this door is opened, they will be asking for the same sort of liquor license, as sure as I'm sitting here.
I think that it's a special use, so we can determine, what we see fit.
How are you going to deny it when it comes to another service station, when you've just given it to these people, on what grounds?
It's a special use. We can.
I don't think you can come up with a special use that would say that this particular gas station has more of a right than they do, or not a right.
I think I would look at the fence ordinance that we were looking at, like the zoning board and the plan commissions, they were voting on back and forth on fences without even actually, they were voting for it, then they were voting against it. They were voting for it and against it. So in this particular instance, because this is what's before us right now, I see no issue with
To agree to disagree.
packaged liquor here, so.
I think it's a
Will
problem.
say that having something be a special use is not total discretion on your part. The ability to turn down a special use under more recent Supreme Court cases is not as, I won't say easy, not as restrictive. It's easier to defend if none of them have them than if one has it. So I do believe you would see some others, and I don't know that we could just hide behind the fact that it's a special use and deny it and not expect some litigation. That being said, it's not unusual for towns to have alcohol at gas stations, and so.
They'll still be required to follow certain laws to sell
Yes.
the alcohol.
Does that
Oh,
say,
yeah,
Can't sell it
absolutely.
at
does
2
the
a.m.
7-Eleven across the street
whatever
sell
it is.
packaged liquor?
That's what could you address that?
Yeah, so yes, the all the current 7-Elevens in town do sell packaged liquor, beer, wine, and liquor. All liquor is only sold behind the counter. And then, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yep. Good evening. My name is Dan Acker. I'm real estate with 7-Eleven. And first of all, I just want to say thank you for having us here. We're very excited to have the opportunity to bring the latest and greatest of our stores. We are expanding across the country now. We are expanding in other suburbs of the Chicagoland area, and we're excited to really enhance this intersection here with our latest and greatest store. Just in regards to the packaged goods license for alcohol here, I just want to throw out there, like, we're by no means are we a liquor store. I mean, we're not a beer. I mean, it is it is a percentage of our sales, which we do count for in order to afford a development such as this. I mean, we're literally scraping and rebuilding, our developers are actually scraping and rebuilding the entire site, environmentally clean, you know, and it's going to be up, you know, from scratch. So in order to afford that, we do count on our assortment of items. Now, this will be a little bit larger of a C-store, so if that helps, but this will be a 3,500 square foot C-store, and I don't think there's any other C-stores, to my knowledge, in Bartlett that are quite this size. So that might be a way around it too, but by no means are we a liquor store. We just like to have that. We are a convenience-driven store, so it's just having that top sellers, you know, just items that our guests, our customers ask us to carry, that we like to provide to them. So I'll be happy to answer any questions too.
I wanted to make a comment based on what Trustee Cameron was talking about. Roberta and I have gone through this before in the Plan Commission, and I'm sure George has seen it with the ZBA. And yeah, there is instances where you are setting precedents, and you know what's happened to us, it's become a legal matter. And in a situation like this, I would think that they would have grounds to move forward if another gas station did want to do something. We've sat through this, we've gone through this. And the one question I wanted to ask you gentlemen, if liquor were excluded from this project, would you still move forward with the construction of the gas station?
As large of a company as 7-Eleven is, it's going to be a team decision, but I would say it would dramatically affect our ability to proceed here, yes.
Thank you.
If you were to sell alcohol at this facility, would it also be behind the counter? Or no?
Yes, so we would have the same setup as what we would have across the street. So the
Okay.
liquor would be behind the counter, beer and wine would be like our normal setup, correct?
Okay, thank you.
But you're just talking about hard alcohol behind the counter. The beer and wine are out in the aisles where people,
I think they're in coolers, aren't they?
they're in coolers.
Yeah,
So it's not everything behind the counter. It's
just
it's whiskey and vodka and that kind of stuff.
And the location on across the street will remain open?
That's still, excuse me, so as far as the location across the street, we're still, it hasn't been determined yet, whether that will stay open or whether it'll be a relocation 100%.
And are these corporate locations or franchisee-owned small
Yeah.
business people?
Excellent question. So 7-Eleven is a corporately owned company. We do like to actually, we do look for business operators within the community that know the community. So we do like to franchise the locations, but they're still corporately run stores, I guess, corporately owned stores. We just like to provide the opportunity for a local business person that is interested in becoming a franchisee to that's already involved in the community here to an opportunity to run their own business.
If we approved this location, in this location, will it then be removing the opportunity for the person who is at the current 7-Eleven?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
If you develop this, if we say, yes, let's go for it, does that person across the street lose their business?
No. There's, yeah, I'm not in franchising, but that, if it was a reload, that franchisee would potentially take over this new store. They don't just lose a store just flat out, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good question, right?
Weren't we under the impression that that was what was going to happen?
Yes.
Yes. That they were going to close the corner of 7-Eleven and move into that facility? That's the impression we were under.
As Dan said, I think that's a decision that's made at a corporate level that has not been determined at this point.
Is that a factor?
Got another vacant store in town.
This is an opportunity to develop, and the EVA on this property will, has staff even run those numbers? I mean, this has been an eyesore on Route 20 for
13.
13 years?
No, 2013.
2013. I just, along different lines, just some suggestions. The fuel vent stacks They show them along Route 20. I don't know if that's going to actually happen. I don't have the fuel layout in front of me, but if we could put either the fuel vent on top of the canopy or off to the east property line, so it's away from a major intersection, and also add an additional e-stop and overfill alarm there, just so if the tanker's filling up, they know if it's problematic. It's happened in other communities.
We could definitely so I will say that 7-Eleven designs and installs the fuel portion of the site, but we can locate the vents on the eastern portion of the property.
That would be great.
We could definitely accommodate that.
Any other questions and comments?
I think we let the planning,
What?
let them hash out some of this stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll forward this on to the ZBA and the Plan Commission to conduct the public hearing. Thank you guys for
Thank you.
developing this property. And
Appreciate it. We look forward to working with the city, and yeah, I'd like to commend, it's been a pleasure working with staff, Public Works, the police department.
Police department, yeah.
thank you.
Speaking of the police department, when this matter comes back before the village board, because I don't want to put you on the spot now, I would be interested in the police department's thoughts on permitting alcohol at gas stations. I know South Elgin used to have a firm prohibition against that. My client managed to get it, and so I don't know what the police thoughts.
Maybe you could shoot something out to the board.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the zoning concern, but I don't know the law enforcement concern, if any.
That's a great point. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
That's all we have under building and zoning.
Thank you, Chairman Hopkins.